And the XL back with the latest NFXL podcast and the latest 2026 NFL draft class update for December is going to look at the tight ends. Before I get into this year's draft class at tight end, let's look back at the previous drafts of this decade for clues as to what we might expect to see from this draft. Last year, 13 tight ends got taken, with 5 having made a good start to their NFL careers. There's more than that actually, but 5 have made the most impression. They being Colston Loveland, who went at pick 10 last year, Tyler Warren, who went at 14, Mason Taylor, who went at 42, Harold Fannin, who went at 67, and Aronde Gadsden that got taken way too late for me at 165. In 2024, 12 got drafted, the best 3 being Brock Bowers, who went at 13, Theo Johnson at 107, and AJ Barner at 121. In 2023, that saw 16 tight ends get selected, a bumper crop. Not as bumper as the previous year, though. Dalton Cade went in 2023, went at 2025. Sam Laporta at 34. Brenton Strange at 61 and Tucker Kraft at 78 as the pick of that class. And as I say, it was a real bumper crop in 2022 where 19 went, including Trey McBride at 55, Kay Dotton at 106, Jake Ferguson at 129, Isaiah Likely, dare I say, dropped at 139, and Chiga Conquo at 143. The first 2 years of the decade saw 23 go across the 2 drafts, best of them being Kyle Pitts, who was taken 4th overall in 2021. Pat Fryermuth went at 55 that year, whilst in 2020 Kyle Komet was the only one really to make a mark in the NFL after going at pick 43. In total, then, 83 tight ends have gone in the last 6 drafts. Let's call it a 14er draft, with 20 of those 83 making a real difference to their teams offensively, roughly 1 in 4 or just over 3 per draft. But all of those 20 went by pick 165, and as I say, Gadsden was the pick 165 and he went way too late. Out of the other 19, if you ignore Gadsden, out of the other 19, they all went by the end of the 4th round. And Gadsden should have gone by then. So if you're looking for a tight end that can help out your offense beyond round 4, that's not the place to be looking for them. You're going to be very, you can get lucky with quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, but evidence is you don't with tight ends. Indeed, if we break the 20 good ones down by round, they were taken in 5 went in round 1, 6 in round 2, 2 in round 3, and 6 in round 4. And like I say, just the 1 in round 5, Gadsden. More than half of them in the first 2 rounds, and 95% of them in the first 4 rounds. And it really should have been 100%. So, with that knowledge in mind, how many candidates do we have that might go in the first 5 rounds of the 2026 draft? 13 is the answer, but the 7 possibles for round 1s to 4 are the ones to target in reality. I've just added the other 6 in case they do very well pre-draft and move up the list. So let's get into them. Here they are, the guys to target. Round 1, Kenyon Sadiq, a junior out of Oregon, 496 yards and 8 touchdowns for the season. Physically, 6'3" and 245 pounds, and runs a very fast 40 for a tight end, 455. Sadiq's blend of size and quickness, plus his production at a high level of college competition, have kept him top of this class throughout, and he remains the round 1 guy. So, dare I say it, could I speculate here? With Kansas City potentially having a mid-round pick and Travis Kelce potentially retiring, Kenyon Sadiq, come on down. Wouldn't be a bad gig, would it? Right, round 2. 2 guys in there that I've got. The first of which is Eli Stowers, a senior at Vanderbilt, 769 yards and 4 touchdowns this season, 6'4" and 235 pound. Again, a 455-40, so he's in the same physical brackets as Sadiq. And as I say, similar physical and athletic specimen to Sadiq, and rises 1 spot to 2 after a second excellent season at Vandy. Now, the knock will be that it's been at Vandy at a lower level, but Harold Fannin, Bowling Green. There's there's an example for you. Aronde Gadsden, even Syracuse. You don't have to be a big score. The production is important. Max Clare is the next one. Now, he has done it at a high level. Junior at Ohio State, 448 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the stats don't look as good, but at 6'5", 243 pound, doesn't have the quick 40, 4.7 40. All these stats are coming from Draft Buzz as well, just to make sure they get their due plaudits. Claire may not have the stats of others, but that could well be down to sharing the pie with so much other talent on the Buckeyes roster. He also lacks the speed of Sadiq and Stowers, but I still think he could well be a round 2 candidate. I've just got one in round 3. That's Michael Trigg, a senior at Baylor. 694 yards and 6 touchdowns this season. 6'4", 240 pound again. Another with a 4.7 40, which is it's okay. Trigg has had a standout year for the Bears, but has not been exposed to the highest level of the college competition like Sadiq and Claire. So unless he shows up really well at a combine or something like that, he may be limited to round 3. And then we get into the round 4 guys. Right, the first of these is Justin Joly, a junior at NC State, 468 yards with 7 touchdowns. He stands at 6'3", weighs in at 251 pounds, and has a 4.75 40. No matter what the opposition, this guy has great hands and he's a big guy that will take some tackling at any level. His lack of speed may limit him to shorter routes in the NFL, though, and therefore he's unlikely to be much of a downfield threat. But there are his type, Pat Fryermuth comes to mind, that have made a very good career for themselves in the NFL, and Joly could follow that route. Right. Next one is a guy I particularly like, and I'm high on him compared to other analysts that I've seen. Tanner Koziel, a senior at Houston, 651 yards, 5 touchdowns, 240 pounds, 475 40. But I've left the key stat for last. He's 6'7". How many NFL teams have anybody that can defend a 6'7" tight end in the red zone? Not many, as that is where Koziel could be of immense value to an NFL team. And there's not much on his highlight reels, but one play it does stand out that he basically gets open in the middle of the field. And once he gets into stride, yeah, he's got a 4.75 40, but I dare say the first 10 yards of that is pretty slow. Once he gets up to speed, he's pretty quick enough. Right, that's enough on Koziel. Terrence Carter is the next one, a junior at Louisiana. 576 yards and 5 touchdowns, 6'2", 245 pound. Another in that 4.75 40 bracket. Similar comments apply to those about Joly that apply to Carter, although his lack of exposure to top level competition may be a concern. Right, so they're the 7 that I've got. Sorry, is it 7 or is it 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. It is 7. They're the 7 that I see as the main candidates this year. But I'm going to go through these other 6 very quickly. Just give them a shout out. Round 5 or maybe get into round 4. Joe Royer, senior at Cincinnati, 416 yards, 4 touchdowns, 6'5", 250 pound, 465 40. Daquan Wright, senior at Ole Miss, 489 yards, 4 touchdowns, 6'4", 255, 4.7. Jake Hendries, he's a sophomore at Texas, 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6'4", 240 pounds, 468 40. Josh Cuevas, the senior at Alabama, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, 6'3", 250 pounds. Oscar Delp, a senior at Georgia, 245 yards and a single touchdown, 6'5", 245, 452 40. So plenty quick enough, that's for sure. Regarding Delp, that's the quickest in this class. So he's got speed on his side, but the production hasn't come with it. And he's tight end Powell at junior at Georgia, Lawson Lucky, the junior, has 138 yards but 4 touchdowns, 6'4", 240 pounds, 465 40. So Delphin, but on the evidence of it, I'll come back to that. But on the evidence of this decade's draft, a maximum of 5 of these will make any impact in the NFL. Those that go in the first 2 rounds are likely to do so, meaning Sadiq, Stowers, and Claire are really the best ones to look at, whilst 2 more from the other 11 may be worth having. And those 2 seem likely to come from that group of Trigg, Joly, Koziel, and Carter right now. And of the 20 that have worked out this decade, all 20 of them had at least 250 scrimmage yards in their final college season. 18 of the 20 had 300 yards or more, with 14 of them, or 70%, having at least 450 scrimmage yards. Add to that 12 or 60% of them had at least 5 touchdowns in their final college season. So using that data, my conclusion being that yardage and touchdowns in the college game is what you need to look for more than anything when drafting a tight end, above any physical or athletic traits. I said that like the likes of Delp and Lucky look good in terms of their physical traits, but the production hasn't been there. So production trumps that for me in what you're looking for in a draft candidate. And from this, I conclude that Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky are not ones I would be drafting early for sure. And Josh Cuevas and Jack Endries are at best risky options, leaving 9 that have the best shot at success in the NFL. Sadiq, Trigg, Jolie, Carter, and Koziol have the best combination of yardage and touchdowns in this class, so maybe they are the 5 to go for in this draft. And Max Clare, may be another, considering he is sharing the Buckeyes targets with some very talented wide receivers, so his numbers may actually not be representative of where he actually stands. So that's how I see the tight end picture as we head into December. Next, I'll come back with the O-line, but that will probably be next week sometime because we've got a busy calendar looking after the current season without looking forward to what's going to happen in the draft. But as we get closer to the end of the season, I'm really going to start honing in on the draft, and that is my biggest area of strength. I think I am the premier draft analyst in terms of where people will go, and I I will compare my numbers over the last 3 seasons to anybody that you want to pick out there. Any of the NFL.com guys. I'm not going to use names, but you know what I'm saying. Right, that wraps up this one. See you soon.